Hi guys, I hope you're all well. As you can see, painting something a bit different today, and that's these awesome little chibis. So the old big head, small body fellas and ladies. Yeah, so these are actually from the Ancient Gods. It's a Kickstarter which is out today, guys. There's a link down below. And as you can see, there's some lovely detail in these figures. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed painting these. Well, airbrushing these, and yeah, a bit of all sorts really to get these done. So thoroughly enjoyed that. We'll go through that in just a moment. But yeah, a bit more about these guys. So as I mentioned, it's a Kickstarter launched earlier today by Limelight Miniatures. And it's these awesome looking Chibi Miniatures Ancient Gods Volume 1. And as you can see, there are tons to choose from. I believe there's about 36 in this initial sort of run. And you can get the STLs or physical figures, which don't cost much at all. As you can see, every sort of figure there's two versions of, which is pretty cool. So a nice bit of variety there. And there are several stretch goals, so you can unlock, well, there's some Minotaurs, Cyclops, Medusa, and yeah, a whole variety of other things. So guys, go click the link down below, go and check it out for yourselves. So I was lucky enough that when Limelight Miniatures contacted me, they said yeah, I could sort of choose a couple of miniatures to print out myself, which is pretty awesome. So I let my daughter choose as well. She's going to be having these sitting on her sort of shelf, well, now that they're completed. So yeah, do have to mention guys, Limelight Miniatures is sponsoring this video, but as always, any words that I say are, well, they're completely mine. So if you are going down the route of the STLs, they all come pre-supported, and there's two versions. There's the merged version with the base, or you can have it separate, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I took mine into Chichi Box, as I'm going to be printing this out on the Elegoo Saturn 3. Absolutely gorgeous printer. Yeah, really love using it, which is awesome because obviously I can print out quite a lot of stuff. It's quite a nice large build plate. I've actually scaled these up because I want to make them a bit bigger, just so I can make the eyes easier. So you may have seen in my last video I was using this sunlu resin, which yeah, I absolutely loved, as the miniatures that I printed using this stuff felt less brittle. And yeah, if you've ever printed anything off, especially like thin things like swords and stuff, you'll know that if you drop the miniature, the chances are it's going to break. But with this stuff, yeah, it seems to give it a bit more elasticity, which is easier said than how I just said it. But yeah, so I absolutely love this stuff. So this is what I'm using again. And I say the Elegoo Saturn 3 is the printer I'm using. Lovely and simple, few buttons, bosh bosh bosh. And then yeah, a couple of hours later, I've got some miniatures. So again guys, obviously as I always say, I just absolutely love 3D printers. It really has been, well, a kid in a toy shop, but I go online, get what you want and print them off. And lo and behold, here we go, two lovely large looking chibis, which yeah, absolutely love the look of these. Very cute, nice big eyes. I say I wanted to print them a bit bigger than they originally came to me at, just so I could actually paint some eyes. Because generally, yeah, I don't paint eyes. I normally paint things with helmets, or if they have got eyes, they're kind of asleep by the time I paint them. So I started by priming them in black, and I've used the Colour Forge matte black, which, as I say every week, the matte black is just gorgeous. Goes on really well, and yeah, it really is a true matte black. So yeah, I put them in little painting handles and ready to paint. So a couple of ways I could have painted these. Slapchop would have obviously been one of the ways. But yeah, because I had printed these out a little bit bigger, I thought, no, let's have a go at using my airbrush again. As obviously the only way I'm going to get better using the airbrush is to, well, keep trying it out. And I've certainly got no excuses not to use the airbrush, as those lovely people over at Army Painter obviously sent me the, well, the complete set of their Army Painter War Paint air range, which basically means all these pots are pre-watered down. I don't know if that's the right word. But yeah, basically just put them in the airbrush and away you go, which just makes things so simple, especially for a noob like me. And yeah, I can just crack on and do it. Obviously, say I am still learning the airbrush. The thing that I'm probably having most problems with is the little sort of controller bit. The fact that you push it down to obviously make the air release, then you've got to slowly pull it back. And yeah, I guess it's like learning how to write all over again. It really is a bit of a learning technique. Again, the more you do it, the better it becomes, the second nature it becomes, and like anything, the easier it becomes. But yeah, I just love how the paint comes out. And I say it's obviously so quick. Rather than painting with a brush, the airbrush or air gun or whatever it's called, again, I never know what things are called. Yeah, it's so quick, fast and easy, even in the hands, even in my hands. And again guys, I mean, I've had this channel, funny enough, it was 3 years old yesterday, this channel. I am always going to be a jack of all trades. Definitely a master of none. But even when I say a jack of all trades, yeah, that's probably a bit sort of an extreme bit as well. Yeah, I just pick things up, I muddle through, and I have fun. And like I always say, this hobby, it is a hobby, so you're meant to have fun. And if you're not having fun, well, then I think you're doing something wrong, because hobbies are meant to be fun, otherwise pick a different hobby. But yeah, the other thing I was really impressed with these as well, obviously the fact that I am painting these on a matte black base. I say these paints are, again, I don't know if it's watered down, what the technical term is, or what they put with the paints. Oh, it's thinner stuff, isn't it? Again, I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about, guys. They put some sort of thinning stuff in with the paints to obviously make it thinner, so it comes out of the airbrush nicer. But yeah, as you can see, it covers black in sort of one go, which is just awesome. Again, this makes this whole process so easy. So I really do need to start doing a lot more of this kind of thing. Well, probably starting by watching a lot more professional people who know what they're doing and know what they're saying and know all the technical terms. But yeah, I think that's the other problem I've got as well, is it's not just necessarily the not knowing technical terms, it's the fact that I've got a memory like a sieve. So I could be told something a million times and I'd still forget what it is. But yeah, you guys are here to watch me waffle, watch me muddle through. And yeah, again, if I can do this, then anyone can. Yeah, I don't have any technical skills whatsoever. I'm just having lots and lots of fun. Like I was saying earlier, guys, don't worry if you don't have a 3D printer. You can buy the physical models here. They do them in the sort of like normal grey resin, so obviously then you can just do what I'm doing, and that's paint them. Or you can buy them as like clear resin. And I believe there's 4 colours to choose from: yellow, red, blue and green. And yeah, again, they just look awesome little figures. So yeah, guys, go check the link out below. There's obviously lots more details there than I can possibly say in this video. So my initial plan was to see if I could airbrush, well, the whole miniature, including the eyes. But yeah, obviously one thing I do know about the airbrush, you can get different end nozzles with obviously different sizes. So the thing that I was having, I guess, the most problems with was obviously trying to get the paint just on the area that I wanted it. Sounds simple enough, but again, in my hands, yeah, I kind of like, not necessarily overspray, but just it was difficult to keep it into one sort of like area without going outside the lines, I guess is probably the easiest way of saying this. But yeah, you can get different end nozzles with obviously different different thickness sort of holes at the end to try and get that thinner stream, I guess. And that's why, as you can see, one thing I did sort of learn when I was watching other people, and that is obviously if you want to get a smaller stream to come out, you do have the airbrush really close up to the miniature. But the other thing I've seen as well, different nozzles, you can see exactly where sort of the paint is. Whereas obviously I've got this sort of nozzle at the end, and I know the paint's going to come out roughly in the centre of it, but it is a little bit of a guesswork sort of still. Whereas you can get different nozzles that sort of, well, are thinner at the end. So yeah, going to invest in a few more bits and pieces. As I say, I do really enjoy this airbrushing. It really is so quick, fun and simple. So I kind of got to a finished stage with these guys and girls, and yeah, this is where I sort of realised that there's no way I could tidy them up enough. As you can see, there's sort of overspray bits here and there, and yeah, this is where I thought, well, yeah, I'm gonna have to resort to a brush just to sort of get in and say some of the bits like nooks and crannies, the bits hiding behind her. Yeah, I just couldn't sort of get the air gun into those sort of areas to even be able to spray the bits. So yeah, I can only get so far, and this is where I now use a brush just to sort of like, well, tidy up the edges and to make it obviously look nice and neat, and yeah, how I want it really. So yeah, I'm using these Artist Opus brushes. You'll have seen me use these before. Lovely little box set. Yeah, obviously great dry brushing brushes in there as well. I'll leave a link in the description for those as well, guys. So this is where, again, I love using these air sort of, well, I don't know what else to call them really. They're the Army Painter War Paints, and it's like the Air series, I guess, because obviously they go in an airbrush. And yeah, so these are watered down, but they go on lovely. So obviously I don't use the same ones because obviously the colour needed to match what I was currently painting. And yes, this is what I mean about that airbrush. I couldn't get it in that little gap. So yes, I was never going to get that painted. So yeah, using the good old paintbrush, filling it in. And yeah, the coverage on these, so even using the brush with these air paints, yeah, I think I'm going to be using these air paints quite a lot more, not necessarily just for airbrushing, but just for sort of general painting. And so the fact that they are watered down, yeah, these are great to use for sort of like highlights, which is just pretty awesome. And I think, as we all know, I do love the Army Painter stuff, but I also love the Army Painter guys. They really are nice, friendly, helpful, and always listen to what people sort of say about their products, which is just awesome. So it didn't take too long at all to get these well, into a position where I'd sort of pleased with them. They're all nice and tidied. So it would have been nice if I'd have done this with the airbrush. Maybe more practice, different nozzle, and possibly I can get there. So the good old eyes. Yeah, the thing that I normally, well, don't do. So I have tried every now and then. I will have another go, but it generally is the same sort of outcome. I just get people with cross eyes, or well, one eye far bigger than the other. Yeah, generally a bit of both. One eye bigger than the other and cross-eyed. So maybe I just need to paint Cyclops. Can't go wrong there, just one eye. So as you can see, I am clearly cheating. I'm using a Sharpie. Yeah, if in doubt, get a pen out. That's what I say. But that's the reason why I made these ones particularly bigger. Plus they would fit better on my daughter's shelf. So that was the other reason I made them bigger. Not just so I could cheat and make the eyes. And yeah, because obviously as I haven't slap chopped this, I have just used nice sort of bulk colours, or base colours even. See, again guys, I don't know what the terms are. Yeah, having a go at doing some highlighting, something I don't really do enough of. Should really have a little go at doing this more. It's generally, yeah, I mean, rule of thumb, highlights go on the higher raised areas because that's the bits the sun's catching, I guess. So yeah, doing it with these, and one thing I have sort of learned or been seeing from other people is when you do the highlights, you kind of use the side of the brush rather than the tip. So the side then just sort of catches, well, that raised area. And again, this was fun, very therapeutic, which is why I love this hobby. I do sort of zone out into my own wibbly wobbly world. Although sometimes when I zone out, I do forget to video, as yeah, I kind of get engrossed in what I'm doing, really enjoy what I'm doing. So there are a couple of times I've done videos and there's been a bit of a jump between a bit you saw and then the next bit you saw, and that was purely because I was having too much fun to even remember to yeah, to film the bits. So one of the last sort of few things to do here, obviously there are little chibis, and they generally have obviously these couple of little dots in their eyes. So they have huge big pupils and a couple of dots where obviously the light's reflecting, and yeah, it just adds a bit of cuteness to these miniatures. I say these are for my daughter. Yeah, that's my excuse, they're not sitting on my desk. So they're all done, and this is where I'd normally stick them on a turntable with a black bit of board behind and, well, show them in all their glory as they spin round. Unfortunately, that doesn't work, so I'm going to have to get a new one. But yeah, here you go guys, this is them all complete. Say, love painting these, gorgeous miniatures, really well sculpted. Yeah, go check out Limelight Miniatures Kickstarter, and these are the Chibi Miniatures Ancient Gods Volume 1, which obviously kind of indicates there's going to be more of these, which is just awesome. I say, I think there's, is it 32? I think I said 36 before. There's actually 32 miniatures at the moment. There are the stretch goals where they'll obviously be releasing some more miniatures, which is just awesome. And I say that I love the fact that each one of these has 2 different poses, which is great. And yeah, any guys that don't have 3D printers, you can buy the physical miniatures as well, which is just awesome. So guys, link in the description, go check them out. So I just want to say a big thank you to Limelight Miniatures for sponsoring this video. It really helps out so much. As well as obviously all my lovely patrons, Chaos Cards and the Colour Forge for helping support the channel. Yeah, links down below guys, go give them some love as well. And yeah, that's it for this one guys. You all take care. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.